Well, the U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an order to impose stiff tariffs on imports from Mexico, Canada and China, fulfilling one of his post-campaign commitments to voters that threatened to spark higher inflation and disrupt businesses across North America as the countries have vowed harsh measures in response. The White House has in fact confirmed that imports from Canada and Mexico will face a 25% tariff with a lower 10% levy on the Canadian energy resources. Additionally, an extra 10% duty will also be imposed on the Chinese goods, which already face various trade restrictions. Senior consulting editor Shinjoy Chaudhary joins us on the broadcast with the details. Shinjoy, we're seeing the U.S. President Donald Trump execute some of the promises that he had made, and tariffs on Canada, Mexico are some of the issues that he had spoken of. It has been imposed, but there also seems to be some retaliation, particularly from Canada.
Canada will retaliate. And it's important to see how this affects the economy of the country. Now, America is $4 trillion. The
All right, we'll try and fix that line. Shinjoy, we'll come back to you. My sincere apologies. So Canada and Mexico both have announced a tit-for-tat measure after Donald Trump levied tariff for Canada as well as Mexico. So the U.S. president announcing tariffs on the major U.S. trading partners, Canada, Mexico, as well as China as well. And he cited a major threat from illegal immigration and drugs as a reason. So Trump has now imposed a 25% tariff on Canadian and Mexican imports and a 10% tariff on goods from China. After his announcement, the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said Canada will place 25% tariffs on the $155 billion in U.S. imports in retaliation. Shinjoy, go on.
Yes. Now, how will it affect the American consumer? How will it affect the Canadian consumer? And, of course, the Mexican? Now, will this lead to inflation? That's really the question. Because you are importing. Now the Americans will be importing anything at a price which will be 25% more.
Okay, all right. So he has fulfilled one of his post-poll promises, but the outgoing Canadian Prime Minister, like we mentioned, Justin Trudeau, has said that Canada will also place a 25% tariff on the $155 billion U.S. imports in retaliation for Trump tariff, alleging that people of his country will buy local products, asking them to consider vacationing domestically as well.
Tonight, first, I want to speak directly to Americans, our closest friends and neighbors. This is a choice that, yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you, the American people. As I have consistently said, tariffs against Canada will put your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities. They will raise costs for you, including food at the grocery stores and gas at the pump. They will impede your access to an affordable supply of vital goods crucial for U.S. security, such as nickel, potash, uranium, steel, and aluminum. They will violate the free trade agreement that the President and I, along with our Mexican partner, negotiated and signed a few years ago.
Shinjoy, while this is the response of Canada, what does this mean for India? First, after the decision was made by the United States, and also there have been a lot of talks around tariffs also being imposed on India.
Yes, so far it hasn't happened, but I imagine that it could well happen, and India will have to be ready for it. First of all, as far as this Canadian decision is concerned, it will make or cause inflation in America. But the bigger worry, perhaps, is the fact that tariffs have been imposed on China and Chinese goods. And China is the world's largest manufacturer. And like India, America imports huge amounts of Chinese goods. Now, if there is a tariff on it, then overall, there will be an increase in Chinese goods, the cost of Chinese goods. Now, can America manufacture enough goods in America to offset that and give the American people the opportunity to choose between an American good and a Chinese good? And even if the Americans do manufacture at a certain price, will it be higher or lower than the Chinese good with a tariff on it? These are questions that will have to be answered. Also, at a macro level, China is a $17 trillion economy. India is only 4 at best. So the point is, if China takes certain actions, because China has huge quantities of American dollars, if China releases the dollars, floods the American economy, then the dollar will crash. These are things that are possible. No one is saying it will happen, but these are possible. And these are worrying possibilities for the world economy.
Okay, all right. Srinjoy, thank you for joining us with those details. These developments could have an impact on the world economy as well. But one of the biggest issues that Trump had spoken about was inflation for the common man in the United States. Let's see what impact it has. With that, let's shift our attention